On this week's episode, I'm going to show you guys a cool lick that gypsy jazz legend Jimmy Rosenberg uses to spice up his plain old minor arpeggios. Hey there guys and dolls, and welcome to this week's installment of Weekend Wankshop, here with your good buddy, Uncle Ben. If you guys aren't familiar with the playing of Jimmy Rosenberg, you're really missing out on one of the greatest players that's ever picked up the instrument. Jimmy Rosenberg is a modern gypsy jazz player along the lines of guys like Django Reinhardt. He has an unbelievable amount of skill, a super crazy life story, and a really large amount of live and recorded work that you guys can listen to. His technique and ability as an improviser are absolutely terrifying. Watch any of his live stuff and keep in mind that he's making up all the stuff as he goes. It'll make your head spin. There's a really simple arpeggio lick that he plays over minor chords a lot in his improvising. I've heard him do it in all kinds of different kind of jazz and gypsy jazz standards. I figured I'd show it to you guys today as a cool way to spice up your own arpeggio playing. Even if you're not playing gypsy jazz, you can do this in a rock or metal kind of context. But before we start getting into it, let's hear it again at step jazz speed. And as always, you can find a full tab for this week's lick on my Instagram page, so head over to Eller Guitars, find this week's lick, and learn how to play it. Alright, I'm imagining this week's lick taking place over an A minor chord, although you could also use it over an A minor 6, as is kind of favored in the gypsy jazz style. So one thing that you guys might or might not know about gypsy jazz playing is it's not necessarily very scalar. These guys aren't really playing a lot of scale and mode runs like rock guys do. It's very much based around arpeggios. It's all based around chord tones of whatever chords you happen to be playing over in that tune. The way that a lot of gypsy jazz players get around is to take a standard arpeggio, like A minor, and then spice that thing up by playing other connecting notes in there, just kind of connecting chord note to chord note using chromaticism and passing tones and all that jazz. The lick that Jimmy does all the time uses a standard minor arpeggio, as well as spices up the rest of that harmony a little bit. You see, a minor chord has root, flat, third, and fifth in it, and that's it, right? It doesn't have any kind of a seventh in there. So basically what Jimmy does is he fills in the blanks using a regular 7 and a flat 7 to give you kind of a minor major 7 sound and a minor 7 sound, all taking place over the same A minor chord. It's a really cool concept. I've always thought of this as being kind of like that sequence in Jurassic Park where they're talking about how they have the dinosaur DNA, but it has gaps in it, so they just fill in the gaps with frog DNA or whatever they want. Basically, you know, Jimmy sees this root, flat, third, fifth DNA, and he fills that in with a regular 7 or a flat 7 or whatever he wants to. He's just taking the holes in the sequence and filling them in with whatever he wants to. So this lick is going to be based around an A minor arpeggio, and that's what we're going to play first. I'm going to be starting off here on the 17th fret on the high E string. Hope you have a cutaway. I'm going to play that note and then pull off to the 12th fret high E string. That's A and E, our root and fifth of our arpeggio, respectively. Then what you're going to do is to play the 13th fret B string. That's a C note, our flat third. And then what you're going to do is to play the 14th fret G. That's an A note, our root note. So now I've played this. After this, go back to the 13th fret B and that 12th fret high E. So now you got triplet, triplet, 6 notes. Now after this, what he's going to do is instead of starting off on the root note, he's going to start off on the 7th. That's going to be a G sharp note right here. Keep everything else the same. All that you're going to do though is start off on 16, pulling to 12, 13th B, 14th G, 13th B, 12th E. Then after this, start down another semitone lower from the G, the flat 7th. Now what I'm going to do here is to play the 15th fret high E string pulling off to 12, 13th B, 14th G, 13th B, 12th high E, and then go back to the G sharp, the 7th scale degree here, or fret 16, whichever one you want to call it. Same deal, 16, pull to 12, 13th B, 14th G, 13th B, 12th E, and then end by resolving back on your root note, the 17th fret high E string, your A. So basically you can look at it as the same A minor arpeggio on the bottom end, and just basically making the starting note go from A to G sharp to G to G sharp like this, A, G sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. And here's that last chord I ended on there too. Think of it as like an A minor major 7 with the 6 in there too. So what I'm doing here is open A, 4th fret D, 5th G, 5th B, and 4th high E string, which I grab with a bar. And picking wise, this has a little sweep picking action going on here. I'm doing an upstroke to begin with a pull off, another upstroke on the B, and then 3 consecutive downstrokes, like that. So it's up, pull, up, down, 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 up. Now another trick that Jimmy and a lot of other gypsy jazz players do is to add in a little bit of palm muting, especially on that ascending part right there. Here I'm kind of palm muting the triple downstroke, like that. This is one of those things that only really sounds right if you do it fast. If you do it slow and you're going, those notes are just so short, it doesn't really sound right. But at speed, it sounds fine, you know, because those notes are going by a millisecond away from each other. So yeah, it might sound kind of weird if you play it slow, like that. But if you do it faster, it gets you that nice punchy sound. So just a little bit of palm muting on the downstrokes. And of course you could move this to suit any other chord too. So if I was playing over like an E minor sound, I could just make that arpeggio idea happen on an E minor, going from the root to the 7th to the flat 7th, back to the regular 7th. So you go guys, a cool lick that you can use to spice up your own arpeggio playing, whether it's in a gypsy jazz song or metal song or whatever. Hopefully you guys can get some good use out of that dino DNA idea too, and take whatever chord it is you're playing over and fill in the blanks with whatever it is that you want to hear. And please do check out Jimmy Rosenberg. There's so much live stuff that you can find of him here on YouTube. It's unbelievable. There's some stuff I found of him jamming in like a hotel room with another guitar player and a drummer who's playing with brushes on a phone book. And it's one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you guys would like to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Ben Eller Guitars. And I've got a Facebook fan page that you guys can go like over on facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. Also, if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons, be sure to drop me a line, benellerguitars@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for another cool lick next week. Cheers.